Hey friends, good morning. Quarter past the hour on a Saturday. Donald Trump is furious over what he called a gotcha question from radio host Hugh Hewitt. Listen to their exchange.
Are you familiar with General Soleimani?
Yes. Go ahead. Give me a little. Go ahead. Tell me.
He runs the Quds forces.
Yes. Okay.
I don't believe in gotcha questions. I'm not trying to, quiz you on who the worst guy in the world is.
Well, Trump continues to blast Hewitt, tweeting this morning, why would a very low ratings radio show host like Hugh Hewitt be doing the next debate on CNN? He is just a third-rate gotcha guy. So was that really an unfair question, or did Hewitt expose one of Trump's weaknesses? Joining us now to weigh in is our political panel, retired U.S. Air Force Lieutenant General Richard Newton, Amos Snead, a former press secretary for House Republican Ray Blunt, and Rebecca Berg from Real Clear Politics. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for being with us.
Hey, good morning.
Thank you, Anna.
Good morning, Anna.
Rebecca, I'll start with you. Was this a gotcha question or was it fair?
Well, of course, it's a fair question. Donald Trump is running for president, and as commander-in-chief, a lot of Americans would expect him to know, or as a would-be commander-in-chief, expect him to know basic questions about foreign policy. But look, there is still the question of whether this will matter to any of Trump's supporters. And my guess is that many of his supporters don't support him because he's a foreign policy savant or because he has this great command of national security and foreign policy issues. They're in it because they think he's a leader who can make these decisions with the right advisors, with the right information presented to him, and that's the pitch that he's making as well.
Lieutenant Newton, though, should he know who all the players are right now? I mean, the radio host, Hugh Hewitt, mentioned Soleimani, and then when he gave him some, he mentioned the Quds forces, so he shouldn't have thought he was talking about the Kurds if he already mentioned Soleimani, correct?
Sure, Anna, and I think all presidential candidates need to be certainly up on the step. This is, I've said before, in my 34 years on active duty, I think we're now in the most complex and perhaps disruptive international security environment, and so I think it is important for all the candidates to be informed, have a working knowledge, and also be prepared should they assume office in January 2017.
And some would say that the Quds forces are equivalent to our Navy SEAL, and that's something that a potential commander-in-chief ought to know. But Amos, our average viewer probably may not have heard of them, but should somebody running for commander-in-chief be held to a different standard?
I think anybody running for the highest office in the land should be held to a different standard. But look, this was a misstep by Donald Trump, but I don't think it's anything he can't bounce back from. I think most supporters, I would agree with Rebecca, are really on Team Trump because they're focused on domestic issues and not foreign policy.
Lieutenant Newton, do you think there are a lot of people in your camp, though, who maybe are scared even to come forward because they're scared of being in the crosshairs of Trump?
No, I don't think it's an issue at all. I think all the presidential candidates hopefully are surrounding themselves with experts who are steeped in national security issues. I think it's a very important issue that as we move forward in the campaign, again, it's as important as what the candidates have in their knowledge, but also the people they're surrounding themselves with as well.
Rebecca, do you think that Trump will be surrounding himself with people who will be able to help him bone up before this next GOP debate? Because Hugh Hewitt will be one of the moderators asking questions like this.
Right, that's a great question. You would think that he would be boning up on his foreign policy in advance of this debate, but Donald Trump seems to be confident in Donald Trump and maybe doesn't think that he is necessarily weak on these issues. Maybe after this interview he will start taking a different tack, but as he said in previous interviews, he doesn't really have a team of foreign policy advisors. As part of his campaign, he watches television, listens to foreign policy experts on TV. Maybe he's watching this show right now. And that's where he's getting a lot of his information. So we'll see if that changes.
Amos, finally, Donald Trump appeared to be a little bit backed into a corner while he was on this radio show, but then he ends up going on the attack. He goes on the offensive, which is his strength, is it not?
I mean, it is. Donald Trump has such a big media mouthpiece now. I don't believe he'll be going on any more one-on-one interviews with Hugh Hewitt. And I do think it'll be fun, Rebecca, if he is watching this, to check out Donald's Twitter feed the next couple hours.
Lieutenant Newton, Amos, and Rebecca, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Spirited debate.